My name is Felix Krückels. I'm Director of Business Development in Lawo. And now let's have a look to the new commentary system which we developed for host broadcasting productions. The Lawo commentary system consists of three parts, which is the front end for the commentator, the LCU, Lawo commentary unit, which is a Dallas frame with the Ravenna card and its Windows 8 PC controlling the whole system. The LCU is designed to house three commentators, commentator A, commentator guest, commentator B, plus an auxiliary input which can be, for example, your computer to send out a story through the same transmission path you usually use for the main commentary as well. Of course, there is an on-air button, off-air button for all four channels. There's level control for the complete mix, which is done in the commentary unit, which means it's his voice plus the guest plus the commentator B. He has a dedicated volume control for the program feedback or mix minus or program return coming from the OB van, coming from the studio. He has a dedicated knob for the international sound, which is fed into the system. The crowd effects, close balls, boxing, whatsoever, this sound which is fed into the system to follow the sport. There's a dedicated knob for the PA, which is fed into the system. Announcements done from the PA, for example, player 11 is exchanged by player 12. With a function key, he has control to a guide commentator, which is usually used for a big host production show, plus the auxiliary input fed into the LCU in the front of the LCU, which would be, for example, your computer, the backup ISDN line. These three knobs are for the coordination lines, which is 4 wires to the truck, 4 wires to an OB van, or 4 wire to an ISDN codec, or 4 wire to the studio back home, and 3 remote controls for the volume mix within this unit. There's a dedicated area because people still love tape to describe whether this is the truck, whether this is the studio or whatever, a graphics container, and of course there's dedicated areas for the main commentator, for the guest commentator as well, so they simply can write on a paper, on a tape, what all these knobs are. The whole approach is a one cable approach, which means the audio and the control is going through this coax cable. You are seeing a coax cable and you're wondering why are we using coax cable. The reason is very simple. With Ethernet connection, the maximum distance is 100 meters, and with coax we can convert the Ethernet to coax. We can have a distance of up to 1,000 meters from the commentator's box back to the so-called CCR, the commentary control room, where all the commentary units come together. Plus, power is going through this coax cable. So with power over Ethernet, we can power up the unit. There's no other cable which we need to run the commentary unit. There is a spare power connector. If you want to have a redundant power connection, you can use this as well. The third plug on the back of the LCU is an XLR, which is feeding always the program mix which is generated in the box itself. The normal purpose for this output would be an emergency output through ISDN, through whatever Skype or something like that, if the main connection fails. Yeah, so there's 3 connectors for 3 headsets. Can be any headset which is available in the market for commentaries. Because it's designed for host production, where you have a centralized contribution in a so-called CCR, an engineer usually takes care of 5, 10, 20, up to 30 commentary units per venue. You need a connection that the commentator asks for help, and it's as simple as this. They simply push this button and then a ringtone bells in the CCR, and then the engineer can care about the requests the commentator has. The whole commentary system is based on Ravenna AES67, which is an IP layer 3 audio protocol for professional audio transport, uncompressed through an IP layer 3 network. The beauty of this protocol is that it is very flexible, it's very scalable, which means it's easy to increase or to decrease the network, the capacity of the amount of LCUs. and it's very flexible in terms of exchange. If you want to exchange a position from broadcaster 1 to broadcaster 10, you simply change the ID and the network. The boxes are looking through the network for the route from the commentary position to the CCR. The second part of the commentary system is the backend, is the DALIS, which is usually housed in the CCR. You see a standard DALIS with this MasterCard, Ravenna MasterCard, again IP layer 3, doing the Ravenna protocol. So all the commentary systems are connected either via coax or directly into an off-the-shelf Cisco switch, which we have right now here. They're hooked up to the switch, and there's just one cable going into the DALIS, of course a second one in redundant mode, and it's collecting all the IP streams and sending out the IP streams to the commentary system. And the slave cards which we have available for the DALIS are the breakout into our normal audio world, to a mixing console, to a routing matrix, or to an intercom system. Of course, different types of cards are available, analog line inputs and outputs, as well as AES inputs and outputs. Let's have now a look to the third part of the commentary system, which is the LCC, the Lawo Commentary Control. And this Lawo Commentary Control controls the whole system, which means it is actually controlling the mixing console within the LCU with levels, with mic preamp gain, but also it gives you an overview of the input level coming into the microphone. So if the level is going up, you see this here, and you see the program output, which means how much level you send out to the main program output, either on the LCU or, of course, going out of the DALIS to the outside world, to the mixing console of the broadcast partners. Also can remote control whether the commentator A is on air, whether B is on air, or the auxiliary input is fed into the program output as well. And very common, especially for radio customers, there's the possibility to mix the international sound into this program output at the same time. The left-hand side is the remote control for the LCU, and you can swipe from commentator A to guest to commentator B, and this can remote control the level for the monitoring, for the mic mix, for the guide, which the commentator usually is doing with his knobs, but the engineer can help this guy. If the commentator is requesting for help, there's a big yellow flashing on the screen, which means it alarms, it's alerting the commentary engineer that there is one commentator having some need for help, and I simply accept this help call. I can talk through this PC, again via IP, via layer 3 Ravenna, to the commentator, and once the request is done and he doesn't need help anymore, I simply clear this help request. On the right hand side there is the monitoring for this PC, for the computer, which means I can select whether I want to hear the program output for this commentary unit. I can listen into the coordination line 1, 2 and 3, and there I can select whether I want to listen to the send or to the return of this coordination. So I can listen into whether the truck is sending audio into coordination 3 or whether the commentator is talking into the coordination 3 line. On the right hand side we have the dedicated metering for all these selections, plus the volume control for my headset, which is usually an USB headset, and the microphone gain for this headset. If I switch on ident, a text-to-speech is generating audio which identifies the specific commentary position. It's simply explaining this is Larval TV commentary position at NAB 2014 in Las Vegas. And with this, there's no need that there's a technician sitting under the commentary headset to identify all these lines. You simply do this with this automatic identification, and this is then usually going straight through the broadcaster, and they know exactly if they have the right audio on their mixing console. To configure everything, you simply type in all your requests, how many commentary positions you have, how many audio lines you have, in an Excel file. This Excel file is loaded into the system, and then the system is doing all these stream configurations, setting up the positions, etc. pp. Yeah, now you have seen our commentary system. More information you can find on www.larval.com.